Welcome to the Australian tourist Tasmania. Tasmania is Australia's only island state, right at the bottom of the country. Let's take the journey.
Yeah, my name's Lee. I live here at the Bay of Fires in the Gardens, Tasmania. I've lived here all my life and yeah, we enjoy it here, so that's why we're here. Yeah, well, in Tasmania there are a lot of small towns with really outstanding architecture from the past, but they're mostly inland near Ross and places that have been settled for a long time. Most of the people that came and settled on the coast were just cray fishermen and shack owners. There aren't very many really good old school buildings here because it was like, you know, it was settled by cray fishermen and just people who had very little bits of money. Tasmania's got quite a few national parks. Some of the better known ones is Cradle Mountain.
We arrived in Tasmania on Monday just gone, and we're going to be here for 2 weeks or 13 days. Came over on the Spirit of Tasmania. Arrived in Devonport. Basically, we've had some time all along the northwest coast. We've been to Launceston, we've done some fishing, spent a day fishing out on a yacht, caught up with some people we randomly met. They invited us out on their boat. So we had the day fishing, which was cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, we just travelled along. We've been right along to the Rock, to the Nut I should say, at Stanley. And now we're just making our way down the west coast. So we're going to spend, well, we were here last night, climbed up Marriott's Lookout. Be walking today, going right up to Cradle Mountain peaks. Finish the day, jump in our car, and then we're going to be heading to Strawn and then making our way.
A lot of movement.
A lot of movement. So that's the story over nearly 2 weeks.
Wineglass Bay is basically just a big bay like this, right, and it's shaped like a wine glass. And the reason that it was called Wineglass Bay, I believe, is because when the early people got here and was the whalers, the water in there was wine. They'd killed that many whales, the water turned to wine, and that was why it was called Wineglass Bay. The Bay of Fires actually goes from a place over on the point called Elephant Rock, and it goes all the way up to Eddiston Lighthouse, and everywhere in between is called the Bay of Fires. Now within the Bay of Fires there are little areas called the Gardens, and that's where we are here, right? And as far as I know, the reason this was called the Gardens is because when the first people came down, there was that much floating seaweed. It was called the Gardens because of the floating gardens of seaweed. That's why. And then they just stripped it off for alginates and it never come back. But mostly people here, they come here, they sit on the beach, go for day walks, do a bit of fishing, spot of fishing, but yeah, there's basically that sort of activity here for them. And mostly it's beach activities here in this sort of part of it, yeah. When you get down to Port Arthur, it's an old historic site, and it's a really good place if you want to look at the old convict settlements, how the convicts were treated, and yeah, how they lived in the area. There were a few other convict settlements on the west coast. One was Sarah Island. That was just a little island, and they put the hardcore ones out there. And that didn't last very long because they were just too inhospitable, mate. So then they took them all over to Port Arthur. But it's mostly convict buildings, and there's some good walks there too, around the cliffs to look at the structure, like all the caves, and because it's sandstone country. And when the water comes in, it erodes the sandstone and makes some really good caves and ledges and stuff. Now you'll like it there, you really will. Anyway, come to Tasmania and have a look for yourself. Check it out.
Thank you for watching the Australian Tourist Tasmania. We've shown you just a tiny bit of what this place has to offer. Come and check it out for yourself. If you'd like more information, go to www.theaustraliantourist.com. See you again soon.